Hi guys, coffee and chat. Get me coffee enjoyment. I have no idea what I'm going to say today. Um, I've just done the weekly tarot card, but you should have seen that by now, I think. Yeah, or maybe not. Who knows? Don't know what order they'll be up. But hello. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're starting to see a wee bit of springtime if you're in the northern hemisphere. And I hope you're well and spiritually feeling a kind of movement inside. There's a lot going on out there, a lot of movement, excuse me, and a lot of it we're sensing in dream time, a lot of it we're sensing during the day, sometimes as anxiety, sometimes as maybe even worrying thoughts, etc. But spring is coming and there's a lot of changes going on in the world, and there's a lot of changes for us to move ahead now as well. And I hope that you enjoy the week ahead's tarot card because it's very, very pertinent to that, and I'll definitely be working with it. So let me know how you're doing down below, if you're feeling well, if you're safe, all those sort of things. We're fine here. I had a few issues with the doggos in the last couple of weeks. They just didn't seem very well at all. Benji's back was sore, so we started him on some holistic drops, which seemed to be working very well. And Nellie, she pulled a muscle in her groin and cried for a week and a half. She was a poor wee soul. At one point I was absolutely terrified that her heart would go out because of the pain, but she's fine now. She's back to be like being a pup, and we have to kind of remind her that she's 9 this year. She's not a young dog. Benji's 13. He just wants to sleep all the time and eat. So it was a busy day, with a busy couple of weeks with the dogs. I had a Sjogren's flare up, which happens from time to time, and it wasn't the worst one I've had, but I had to have my hands in splints and stuff, and my skin all broke out, and I was just a tired, exhausted mess. But the good news is, when I do have a Sjogren's sort of flare up, I tend not to have another one for a couple of months, so that hopefully, fingers crossed. There's a lot of ideas that I've been working with in the background. I'm trying to get on with the book a wee bit, so there's not as many evergreens going up as I would like. Evergreens are the videos that are there, and they're not relevant to any particular month or time. They're teaching videos on various topics, but I'm trying to write them first and also do research if I need to, and once it's written, I'll be able to then make it into a video, because the written part will be part of the next book that's coming out. So there's a lot of written things that wouldn't make it as videos, because you can't put a book out and everything have been on YouTube before. I don't mean that, but some of them are. So I have to get more writing done before I can do the videos as such. And it actually works quite well, because familiarising yourself with something before you actually go and blab on it. I'm terrible at just going on and speaking, but it's because I'm older now, and I have what I have knowledge of, I have good knowledge of. The things I have very little knowledge of, and I'll say that if people ask me about it, but the tarot and mediumship and divination, I know a lot about it because it's been my life, so I tend just to chat on that. And sometimes I've done a video and thought to myself, I forgot to put that in. So if I'd written it down first, or I'd done sort of, that, the video might have been more to my standard that I would like to get over. So I'm going to be doing a wee bit more writing. They'll obviously be the ones I just jump on and do off the top of my head, but it's given me a focus to actually manage to work the channel and work the book, because I'm 60 in May, I do have an autoimmune disease. I am disabled, but I still have to, you know, I still need income. I still have to write, because if I don't write, I'm not a happy person. If I'm not being able to be creative, that's what gets me down. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to the next few weeks, and I'm looking forward to the book that I'm planning for out by September, October, and I'll fill you all in on it. You know, the closer we get to it, but it's going to be quite comprehensive, put it that way. Yeah, so Jim's doing not too bad. I'm seeing, oh yeah, I was thinking that we're Zooming with my daughters for Mother's Day, and I'm looking forward to that, because I can't see them both together yet. We can now, since Friday, we can see up to 4 people, but from 2 households in the garden. But my 2 girls are different households than me, so we're 3 households, so we can't all meet up together. But I'm hoping we can for my birthday in May, and also Jill's birthday's in May as well, so that would be nice. So we're having a Zoom so that we can all be together on Sunday. And I was thinking about Mother's Day and mothers. I felt my mum quite close to me this week. It actually, she passed on the 9th of November. I got it muddled and I thought it was my dad this year, because I'd been cleaning out and I'd found his jacket and it still had his smell on it, which is some 20, 30 years, let's see. Oh, it's more than that. No, 27 years now. It still has a smell on it. So I was thinking of my dad, and then I remembered that both my parents died in March, and my sister, so March can be a heavy month. But I thought, oh, that must be my dad's anniversary, but it was my mum's, so I felt my mum around, like, sorry mum, my dad's is the 25th, so I was thinking of her, and then I got to thinking about Mother's Day and how I'd do this big, there's a mediumship one going up on Mother's Day, but I thought I'd do this big mothers video and talk about mothers and stuff. And you know, I know a few women who you know, have lost their mums obviously, but I know a few women that can't have children. They can't be mothers, physical birth mothers. So I think the first thing I would like to say about Mother's Day is that, you know, if you're a person that's wanted to be a mother but you've never been able to, then I'm acknowledging that this Mother's Day in the UK, and I think it's Europe, I think it's a different day in USA, but Mother's Day must be quite hard for you, and I'm thinking of you. And it's not, I didn't want to start talking about being a mother or mothers and, you know, all the joys of being a mum, etc., and why possibly we don't need one day to be told how we are or whatever. But I feel that any day that is nominated, like Mother's Day, Father's Day, can be difficult for certain people. Excuse me, that coffee's quite strong. And so I want the mums and dads that have been trying to maybe be mums and dads and haven't managed to have that blessing. I see you, and I'm just sending a wee bit of love. So I was thinking of, I'm obviously happy that I'm going to see my girls on Zoom, and I can see Alexander on Zoom as well, because he's always in the background shouting Nana Nana or Naya Naya, so that's great. But I've really enjoyed and will continue to enjoy being a mum, but I'm enjoying being a gran, a nana as well. It's a different type of mothering. It's a because in a way the love is still that love, but it's different, and it's interesting to not just be a mother but to be a grandmother. And I do feel that actual energy of Alexander being in our lives is helping me with a lot of things that I'm moving on from. He's very representative of the way forward now, as Jim and I are getting a wee bit older, and maybe people that we've known and lost, and friendships that maybe have faltered, stuff like that. I think we're very, very much enjoying the aspect of grandparents and all the beautiful things that's leading us to, as well as leading us from maybe looking back the way as much in a negative way, put it that way. So it's good. I do miss my mum. I was thinking about her the other night, and I mean, this, if you are here for spiritual stuff and don't necessarily have to wait for my coffee and chats or stay with the video, it's just me blabbering, but it's nice to chat, and I like to do it a few times a month. So I was thinking of bringing up the fact that, did you have a good mothering, a good experience with your mother, or did you have a negative one? And whatever way that was, how has that helped or held you back? If you would be willing to share, I would love to read that, because mothers can be one of the best influences in your life, or it can be one of the worst. And I've been lucky in that I had a very had a strong-willed mum, but I believe that she did everything for me, for the best for me. Some of it might not have worked out the way she wanted, and some of it might have been wrong, but when she did it with the best heart out. And I look back and I wonder sometimes how she coped. I was born when she was 40, and they found cancer in her womb when they were taking me out. I was born very early, and she didn't get to hold me or anything for about 6 weeks. And then she was very ill, and one of my aunties looked after me for a while. And as I started to grow, I had facial problems, a problem with my palate, and my nose didn't work, and all sorts of facial issues. And as I grew and reached, maybe 10, 11, 12, I did lots of operations by a lovely surgeon called Ian Jackson, who did the boy David's face, but he was a lot younger when he did my face. And it wasn't for cosmetic problems, it was because my palate and my nose and whatever was going on in there wasn't good. It didn't work very well. My nose still doesn't work, I'm a mouth breather. But anyway, we didn't have cars and didn't have mobile phones or whatever, and the unit that I had to go to for my facial stuff was a burns unit, way up the north end of Glasgow, I think it was, Canisburn. And my mum, after she had me, was never in great health, but she went to that hospital like every few years, and then there were ops, and also to have a lot of dental surgery done to match up, so it was the dental hospital. I lost my hearing, so she had to go to the ear hospital, and I had a squint, so she had to go to the eye infirmary. And both my daughters have been healthy, and one had eye problems, and I was going every 3 or 6 months with her, and I was exhausted just with that. But I think back at what my mum did. I mean, from me being maybe age up to about 11, it was constant. It was full on. I don't know how I ever made anything at school, because there wasn't a fortnight went by without me being at a hospital appointment, and she did all that, and I never ever heard her complain, never. and I mean never, and I always remember getting, if I was going somewhere that was going to be difficult for me, that there were difficult tests, we'd always have a treat afterwards. And I liked the ophthalmic hospital in Glasgow because we could manage to go back down to Glasgow Central, and I think we passed some sort of tea room on the way, and we got cake and whatever, and it made the experience I'd been through always good. And I remember when taking my elder daughter to the sick kids in Glasgow for her eye problems, I did exactly the same. Like when she had to get drops in and when there was stuff getting done with her eyes, I would always promise that we would go and we would have nice stuff and she could go in the shoot and stuff afterwards. So in a way, my mum prepared me for how to look after my own daughter who had an who wasn't well at that time with her eyes. Sorry, brain and mouth not together today. So I always thank my mum for that, because I honestly admire, because it wasn't just me. I mean, she had 3 other children, and I was the youngest, and she was in her 40s and early 50s. So I don't know how she did it, and she had arthritis in her legs as well. But she made sure that everywhere I needed to go, I got there. And although the tests and stuff themselves were difficult and some of the ops were difficult, she always made sure that there was some sort of thing to distract me, and I learned that from her. So she in her own way taught me how to be, I suppose, a good mum in times of stress. And when, I mean, there's nothing worse than when your kid breaks their arm or when you're told to get a problem or whatever. It's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. So I know the few times that I've been around hospitals and stuff with my two, that my heart has literally fallen out my chest, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. You're on the floor with worry. And my mum did that for about 4 to 5 different hospitals at a time with me. So the way she did it showed me how to do it in a very different circumstance with mine, and I always thank her for that. So also, she was a brilliant reader. She loved reading. We used to get the Reader's Digest and learn all the new words, and you never saw her without 1 or 2 books on the go. And my love for English came from that. In fact, my mum, when she was at school, didn't get a chance to go on to further education, but her friend did. And believe it or not, her friend became my English teacher at school. And I often thought my mum kind of looked at my English teacher, who I kind of adored because she was an English teacher and I was top in English at that point. My mum kind of looked at it as though I could have done that. So she was always happy for us to enjoy books in English together. And I in turn do that with my girls, which is lovely. But no one's perfect. My mum, after her first babies, and my first sister died tragically when she was 7, but my mum started to carry excess weight at that point. She's a beautiful lady, and she had a terrible complex about it. I used to feel really sorry for her because her sisters were quite thin. And I don't think she had the confidence in herself. And to be honest, in a room, it was hard that you would see because she had beautiful hazel eyes and dark hair, and she was stunning. She was absolutely lovely. But because she was carrying a bit of extra weight, she never felt that way. And that sort of was ingrained in the family. And when I was in secondary, she was a bit tubby or whatever, but she started to encourage me to have like fat-free yogurts and nimble bread and watch calories and whatever. And you know, at school I was very sporty. I played volleyball, I played netball, I was in the contemporary dance, was my strength. Um, and I really think it wrecked my metabolism, but what can you do? You know, my mum thought, she saw all the things that she went through, not feeling good about herself and her weight, and she didn't want that for me. But, you know, in the way that she did it, she wanted to save me from that. But in a way, she maybe hurried it on a bit. I don't know. But I think if she looked at it now, she would have wanted to not do that. And I learned from that with my girls too, that, you know, they could, if they wanted to watch their weight and stuff, or if they wanted to eat healthily, they could do that. But I was not going to force it on them. I would just have healthy food in. So even when something slightly negative from her behaviour impacted me with my own weight in the future, it was done with a good heart. And I'm wondering if any of you have got stories like that about your own mums, something that maybe they did that they thought was good for you but actually backfired, or if you would want to tell me something that they did that had a very positive impact on you. If you want to. It's just I've been thinking about my mum and thinking of all the good things, and then I've often thought about the deficit of you know, being very, very sporty but watching calories cannot be good for a teenager's body in any way. But we didn't know any better, you know. So I'd love to hear, you know, what I'm like. I'm nosy. It's not I'm nosy. I love people. I love looking at people. I love watching them. I love trying to understand them more. And I think we can all help one another if we share our stories. With this channel, you know, some people, I've put up something, someone said, oh, but this happened to me, and they've told their story, and I've been like, oh my god, that story is actually more important than the bloody video I put up. I mean, to be honest. So I love it, and I know we can all benefit. If you don't want to share, that's fine too, but maybe have a wee think about it, because if you can acknowledge the good things that your mother helped you with, then you can acknowledge that and be happy with it. But if there's something that wasn't so good, you can think on it, you can acknowledge it, and then you can deal with it and maybe move on. That's the way I think of it anyway. But I do miss my mum. One of the tragedies of it as well is she was buried. Her burial day was the day of the Dunblane tragedy, the 13th. And that was horrendous because my mum absolutely adored children, and we were in the car. I think we'd gone from the church, and it came in about the Dunblane shooting, where all the kids were massacred, and that day was bad enough, but to have that on top was a nightmare. And I knew that if there was somebody up there that would be waiting for those kids, it would be my mum. So I don't know, it's like the whole Dunblane thing. I mean, it got laws changed, but it didn't need to happen. But anyway, my mum, I'm sure, would have helped the little angels over, even if she was only over a few days. I know she would do it. So I've blathered long enough because it takes forever to upload the videos at the moment. So let me know what you think. And I enjoyed my coffee and chat with you. It was really, really nice. Again, probably just what you get is me. I don't really keep anything back, which probably is the wrong thing, but I don't know. But onwards with the weekly tarot card, onwards to March, April and May, hopefully out of lockdown, and moving forward with the type of videos that you want while writing the book. That's the plan. And be a good mother, a good grandmother, a good wife, because I do have a lovely husband, and a good mama bear. That's what the girls call me, mama bear. And a good mother to these daft doggos. Do you want to come and say hello, Nelly? Come on. Come on. Come on, say hello. Let's see. Oh dear. Oh, you're a right squealer, aren't you? Look. Oh, you're not getting enough attention. Oh, you need your face washed. She's not getting enough attention. What's that about? No, I love you too. You can say bye-bye? No? No, do you not want to go down? No, well, I'll let you down and then I'll come and get you a treat. Right, I promised a treat, so I better be off. Many blessings, love you all, bye.